Dobar dan svima. Dobrodošli na središnju svečanost WinDays19 konferencije. Jako mi je drago da vas mogu pozdraviti u ovoliko velikom broju. Meni je prvi put na ovoj konferenciji, ali su mi ljudi koji su tu iz godine u godinu rekli da će vas doći puno unatoč moru i suncu i zato dobrodošli još jednom, kao što sam rekla, na našu središnju svečanost. Odmah na početku moram pozdraviti naše posebne goste. Izaslanicu predsjednika Hrvatskog sabora i saborsku zastupnicu i predsjednicu Odbora za regionalni razvoj i fondove Europske unije, Branku Juričev-Martinčev. Izaslanika predsjednika Vlade i državnog tajnika Središnjeg državnog ureda za razvoj digitalnog društva Bernarda Gršića, izaslanika gradonačelnika grada Zagreba i pomoćnika pročelnice za informacijski i komunikacijski sustav Igora Plavčića, zamjenika gradonačelnika grada Šibenika Danijela Miletu, te ostale visoke dužnosnike i naravno sve vas. Ovo 19. izdanje konferencije donijelo je brojne novosti. U Šibeniku smo i to po prvi put, nadam se da ste zadovoljni sa našom ovogodišnjom lokacijom, a isto tako po prvi put smo na neki način spojili, ne na neki način, nego smo doista spojili biznis dio konferencije koji je bio jučer i prelili ga u današnji dan zajedno sa onim technology dijelom. Tako da su sudionici jednog i drugog dijela konferencije danas po prvi put mogli uživati u zajedničkom programu i nadam se da vam se to svidjelo. Taj program završava upravo ovdje na ovoj pozornici danas, nešto kasnije jednom panel raspravom koju ćete uskoro moći čuti. Vrijeme, ja neću duljiti ovaj cijeli dio, vrijeme je za našeg prvog govornika. On je proveo jedno 15 minuta na početku mene pokušavajući naučiti kako se izgovara njegovo ime. So I'm gonna try. Mr. Philippe Rogue. Am I right? You are. Yes? Okay, finally.
I'll start by just following up on what Antonio said. Your pronunciation of my language and my name is obviously much better than my Croatian, so you win every time. Anyway, it's great to be back here. Welcome to all of you. I think this is the only event in the world where the opening ceremony happens halfway, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. The room is full, everybody's excited. We should leverage that insight, I think, for more events around the world. I have the pleasure of running our teams across 33 countries in Central and Eastern Europe. And I'm going to try to share a little bit with you about why I'm so excited about the prospects of technology. Obviously, I think now in the agenda, I'm halfway between business and technology. So I think that's sort of the right slot in the agenda, even for me to talk about that. And obviously, this is the 19th event of this sort, the 19th WinDays. That's just an amazing legacy, and I think it speaks volumes to the quality, the attendees, like yourself, who have attended for many, many years, the quality of speakers, unlike myself, who have probably, flourished these podiums. And obviously, our hope is to continue to fine-tune and stay relevant and stay current. Obviously, this year, we have changed the venue. We're very happy to be here in Šibenik, I'm trying, sorry. Which is a city, I think, obviously, A, beautiful city, but B, also one in which, we've been doing some fun stuff, with one of our partners, trying to preserve the archaeological and artistic history of the city by digitizing hundreds of objects and putting them in the cloud for future generations, for current users, with lots of additional opportunities for us to continue. So where history meets technology is literally here in Šibenik. So very happy to be here, always close to the water, obviously, in your beautiful country. So today, I wanted to talk to you about a topic which I think a lot of people have, and I think a lot of people will continue to talk to you about, and it relates to people. My topic will be about artificial intelligence, but I'm neither an artificial intelligence expert or engineer. I'm a business guy. And I think what I wanted to share with you today is how to look at the prospect and the advent of that technology, not from a technological point of view. I can explain to you some of the concepts, but more what do you do with it? And where does it start? Where does it end? And what is the people and the change management component that's required to actually be successful? Because as much as we'd all love to be computer science engineers, very few of us are, yet this technology is out there and it is already having a fundamental impact on our societies, on the way our customers interact with the different brands and our own brands and offerings. And so it's very, very clear that this AI technology is here and it's here to stay. And the question is not, is it going to happen? The question is, how are we going to basically play into that? The first topic that I'd love to just quickly touch on is really, really fundamental to Microsoft. I think this company has probably made a few very good decisions when it started all the way in the back 43 years ago, I believe. The key, I think, to a lot of the growth and the chances we've had and the fact that we're still around is that ultimately I think we've been very clear in what we felt was our purpose and our vision. And that vision used to be to basically democratize the PC. Bill Gates famously had this quote to say, the vision is to put a PC on every desk and in every home. And I'm talking 40 years ago. Now, obviously, I think by now that vision has largely been accomplished. But importantly, it was not accomplished by one company. It was accomplished by an entire ecosystem of partners, of hardware partners, of other software companies, of software companies who are building on top of an operating system like Windows or DOS even in the beginning. And so it really was a group effort. But the core was, how do we bring the availability of that technology to the masses so that it can start having an impact on society and on business at large? And I would argue that with artificial intelligence, these same design principles, the same vision of how we intend to bring that technology to life are the same. We don't plan on doing all of it by ourselves. We probably couldn't if we wanted to, because obviously there's other players in the industry, very powerful, very successful players. I think what sets Microsoft apart is we want to really work in a very collaborative, very responsible, and truly inclusive way to bring these technologies to life, so that ultimately it's not about our AI, it's not about our data sets, it's about yours. And our success should be defined by the use, the adoption, the success, avoiding trouble in this AI world for you. And I think that's the role that we see ourselves play. We have phenomenal capabilities, if you will, on the engineering side, but we do realize that the success of our company is really only based and driven by the adoption that we can have in any market, in any country, and across every industry. We've been investing in this space for over 25 years, and a lot of that AI wasn't available, let's say, as an AI toolkit. It was simply being used, it was embedded into our products, whether it was, your spam filter in Hotmail 20 years ago or 15 years ago, probably wasn't great, but as the data grows and as the algorithms improve, it's probably better now. And so ultimately, this is not a technology which is new. In fact, if you look at AI research, this goes back to the 1950s. There is something in AI literature in which they even refer to as the AI winter, in which basically for probably 15 years nothing happened and everybody went to sleep. But now, obviously, obviously we have Moore's law on the hardware side, and you know what Moore's law states is obviously the doubling of capacity every 18 months. And you now have software which is able to reprogram itself. And so you combine both, and you're now getting into exponential increases in performance. And that's really what's led to a lot of this technology. The only other thing which I would mention is the first thing I typically explain about AI to people I interact with is, what is commonly referred to as AI is really a combination of two fairly, distinct technologies. The first one is machine learning, which is effectively using computing power to make predictive analysis on algorithms on big data sets and being able to basically improve and refine, if you will, the predictability of the outcome. That's one. The other one are the cognitive services. And the cognitive services you can think of as how to translate the analog world into digital, whether it's text, speech, content, sentiment, images, you name it. These are all referred to as cognitive services for the cognitive senses that we all have. And if you combine the two, obviously you have tremendous opportunities to do this. As you think about AI, what is really, really fundamental is that it's basically applicable to pretty much any scenario. And so it's very hard to give good examples of AI unless you have a week to give them, because they basically appear everywhere. And they appear as very small pockets of opportunity left and right. And so that's really, I think, what makes it so pervasive and so impactful, is that you don't need big investments, with a credit card and, I guess, 20 euros to spend. You can probably run a pretty sophisticated scenario already. And the democratization of the tools allows for people who, maybe know how to do Excel today to actually build their own machine learning algorithm, rather than just having to be a data scientist. And I think that's really is one of the areas in which we want to invest in a lot, is how do we make the AI toolkit of tomorrow as accessible as Excel is today, which means if you're a company, it basically sits across all of your departments. And all of your experts, whether they're in finance, in legal, in HR, in production, whatever, are all using the same toolkit because the barrier to usage is so low. Now, if some of you were to question whether AI is, the latest hype, or whether AI is here to stay, I just wanted to share a few numbers with you. We ran our own survey across the area that we cover, which is 33 countries, and is it 85 or 86? 83, sorry. 83% of business leaders are actually confirming that this is a technology which they're willing to adopt. And in fact, when you look at companies that actually use this type of technology, you really see the difference. And if you try to then benchmark them as high growth or not high growth companies, the use of this technology is really, in terms of adoption, is really starting to really differentiate the market. So obviously you want to be in the high growth group. And so, again, I think this is always a tough one, because how do you convince people of something which is so obvious to everybody else? Ultimately, I think the examples need to speak. McKinsey, I think, recently reported that the digital economy, and this is obviously a key driver to this digital economy, could contribute up to 8.3 billion euros GDP by 2025 for Croatia. So, we're not talking about decimals behind the comma. We're talking about big, big numbers and a big, big opportunity. I don't think you would be here if you didn't see the opportunity for the digital economy. Obviously, with great powers come great responsibilities. And I think we've seen in the last 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, that the size, the access to the data, the strength of the algorithms and the powerful new technologies that are available need to be in good hands. If they're not in good hands, I think it's very easy to slip. And I think we've all watched the news, we've all seen reports on the use of data, on the use of face tracking technology that could potentially deviate. We've heard about horror stories where devices get hacked and cameras get switched on. A lot of these things today are new from a technology point of view. And honestly, you can't expect lawmakers and regulators to lead, because by definition, they're not the closest to these technologies. So we believe, in all humility, we'll probably make mistakes. In fact, we have made mistakes. We've been very open and public about them. But we believe we have a responsibility as an industry to self-regulate. And so when it comes to artificial intelligence, we actually have a working group and a body inside our company which assesses the use or the resale, if you will, of our AI technologies to particular scenarios. And some of these discussions can be, philosophical, but we actually go to the depth and we say, hey, what could this technology in the hands of this customer or in the hands of this government lead to? And besides that, we're trying to also define a set of principles which we would obviously hope the industry would abide by. Obviously, as an example, if you train an algorithm on a data set with only middle-aged white men, you can't assume that African American women would have very good use of the technology. In fact, if you go on YouTube, there's one painful little video that you can find, which for me tells it all, where I think there is a lavatory system where somebody puts their hands underneath the sensor to get the water to flow, something which I hope you've all had today. I hope. Unless you didn't drink enough. And what you see is, you see an African American person trying to put their hand, below the sensor and get the water to flow. And because of the color of their skin, the water doesn't come out. So that's a very painful bias, and the roots of the problem was obviously that they tested this with, with white-skinned people only. Imagine this silly scenario in a world where decisions are being made and we don't really know how we came to the decision and we have to trust the technology. Which is why these principles, avoiding the bias and so fairness, of course the reliability, so that you have predictable results every time you run the algorithm, you have a level of reliability of the algorithm. But even transparency and ability to explain conceptually why the computing algorithm came to the same outcome are just super important for people to get trust. This is all about trust. So we want to be, we don't claim higher moral ground, but we do realize that without this, trust in these technologies could fade very quickly, and so we take these very, very seriously. Again, as I said in the beginning, this type of technology really speaks through its examples. This is a Croatian example, a fantastic story. It's a very simple implementation. Bonsai tech using chatbot technology in an HR scenario in which if you're a mid-sized or a large company like ours and you need access, you need to, have access to simple HR questions like, can I bring my dog to work? What are the opening hours of the cafeteria? Do I have rights for parental leave? The usual stuff. Asking that question versus reading the actual policy document doesn't necessarily match. And so this is the type of technology which allows 85% of the employee questions based on reading policies and internal documents. The system can actually provide the answer because it reads a document and it has the context and it has the intelligence to interpret what you're actually trying to say. So these are, again, this very simple example, but imagine the impact on productivity when you can offload, for silly questions, to be honest, 85% of the workload to technology. And so freeing up people from administrative tasks is not just a cost saving. Oh no. It's about having your HR professionals focus on innovative scenarios, on talent management, on developing your people, et cetera, et cetera. That's the real benefit here. And so, research shows that if you work in a company which, encourages people and gives them time to be innovative, the actual productivity of the people is double. So this has real bottom line impact as well, even though it might look like a very small technical scenario. So another one, which hopefully is going to make you smile a little bit, is a Latvian company called Baltikovo. And basically what they did is this is one of the largest poultry farms in the world, actually, producers of eggs, effectively. And what they do is they basically started measuring humidity, temperature, for individual for their chickens. And basically, they could predict, if you will, in function of the food that was provided, temperature, time of year, humidity, light. They could start predicting the hens producing eggs. I don't know how to put this better than that, but I think you understand what I mean. And when they see deviations, when they see outliers, they know something's wrong. It could have to do with the quality of the food, it could have to do with disease, but at least they have some form of tracking which basically allows them to look at the parameters and see where things potentially went wrong. There's another example, which I don't have time for now, where basically based on similar technology in Japan, the farmer can actually choose whether he wants to produce milk, which is a female cow baby, or meat, which is a male cow baby, in function of market prices. That's very binary and hardcore, but that technology exists, and it's being used today. It's a Fujitsu solution if anybody's in the agricultural world here. So you see, again, these are not massive business transformations with 18 months roadmaps and billions of dollars of investment. This is literally relatively small scale. Let me switch gears a little bit and talk to you about what I believe to be one of the key components here for all of us to succeed. And it's skills. Now, there's plenty of World Economic Forum reports, there's EU reports. Ultimately, everybody agrees, over the next couple of years, 54% or half of all employees, in order to remain competitive in the future workforce, will require some form of reskilling. And then there's a second level of skills, which is how do you get, if you want your company, if you want your country, to jump on the digital ranking and leapfrog, if you will, because you use these types of technologies to set yourself apart. How do you get the technical skills? How do you attract and train and develop the technical skills for people to be able to develop these scenarios? Because there's a war for those skills going on right now. And I think in both cases, I think as Microsoft, we're obviously trying to help where we can. We're happy to have run the Hour of Code. We've also got online curricula, from sort of access to digital to AI business school, or the Microsoft Learn AI curricula, which are available online, mostly for free. You can get yourself certified if you want. The content is, quite good. I've taken it myself. So it's actually quite good. It's very accessible, even if you're a non-techie. But this is the type of thing which we all now need to invest in. This is our key responsibility. Because ultimately, this wave of transformation is happening. And I think we have, as a region, you have as a country, you have as a business leader, a choice to say, this is when I'm now going to invest in this, and I'm going to skill my people, and I'm going to start looking at some of these small projects, or the wave will pass, and others will basically pick up on it. And I really believe that skilling is one of the key areas for us to look at. In fact, I wrote a little piece on LinkedIn on it this weekend, and I've gotten some pretty positive feedback. The question now is, what are we going to do about it? And I think that really is something which, at Microsoft, we feel is part of our responsibility, but obviously we need to team up with all of you to really get the skills level up and, try to win that race. Ultimately, we also want to show the positive sides of this technology. We know that it has business applications, but obviously it also has societal potential. And so we created a fund at Microsoft, which over the last couple of years has, spent north of $100 million to basically give out grants to a number of fantastic applications for AI. This is a project in Estonia in which the government basically asked people, when they saw plastic or dirt or waste on the street, to take a picture and upload the picture. And then on a regular basis, there's a campaign where volunteers come together. It's called Let's Do It, and they basically collect waste. And so this platform has been a tremendous success because obviously if you're walking around, it's no trouble to take a picture. It obviously recognizes, and we use the cognitive service to say, hey, what is this? Is this normal trash or is this something more complicated? And then based on that, basically they do the collection. And they've already been able to mobilize 50,000 people who have basically cleaned up the entire country in 5 hours, literally running something like this because they didn't have to look for dirt. They knew exactly where it was because 21,000 pictures were uploaded. Again, very simple example, but this is one of the projects, we want to encourage and show the potential of the technology with. And so this is one of the projects that has received a grant from us, and there's tons of others, to just leverage AI also essentially for a better world. In conclusion, as I said, there really is no doubt that there is a race to AI adoption right now. I see it with students I sometimes have the chance to talk to at university who write their papers on stuff I could not even imagine possible when I was a student. When I talk to some of the customers, some of the examples that you've seen, again, these are very limited use cases, very small, but they have fundamental impact on how we do business, how we deal with our employees, how we deal with our customers, potentially new business models and tapping into new customers, or how we optimize our production lines. And so the combination of these small things is really what that impact and what that power is. And we believe that by giving tools, not just to 3 people on the front row and some people in a technical department somewhere else, but democratizing the toolkit, democratizing that technology will allow for any function in an organization, any department, any ministry, any scenario, whether it's in arts, in business, in government, in sports, in healthcare, in medicine, it doesn't matter. The technology is there, and there are applications for it. So it's about, do you want to embrace it? That's ultimately what it is today. We're obviously committed to supporting you. I wouldn't be talking about this if we weren't. The other thing is, we have to get learning again. I, myself, together with my team, we've started on a learning journey. We thought we knew all the technology that was out there, but when this comes along, you've got to go back and study. And so we've made a lot of that curriculum available to business leaders out here who want to spend 1 hour, 8 hours, 40 hours, or people who say, hey, I want to certify myself. I want to be able to go to the job market and leverage my knowledge and my certification on AI. So that skilling starts with self-learning and an openness to learning about the new things. Ultimately, this is about the power of skills and the power of imagination. The technology today allows us to do things that we never thought possible. And ultimately, I think combining the two, the human creativity, augmenting people's creativity, augmenting people's capability is really, I think, what we want to do today. So with that, it was a good opportunity, I think, today to meet with some of your business leaders, to walk around, to see the vibrant ecosystem of partners, building the technological solutions of tomorrow. I think this country has everything to play for. It has a number of phenomenal industries. It has the beautiful sights and sceneries. It has a healthy economy. We want to make sure the technology is here for you. We pride ourselves on having the largest ecosystem of IT players in the country. And ultimately now it's, those who put their hands up and go for the next big or small ambitious project. And in order to give you a sense of what you can count on from Microsoft, I'm very excited to invite Tatiana Skoko, our country manager, on stage, who will, hopefully in your language, not in mine, give you more details on what we plan to do. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Okay, thank you. Ništa, za početak želim dobrodošlicu svima vama. Ove godine u Šibeniku. Jako mi je drago da smo ponovno svi zajedno ovdje. Hvala Filipu na lijepom uvodu, upravo u ono što ću sada prezentirati. Prezentirat ću 2 demoa u roku od 10 minuta. Da, to je stvarno moguće. Jedan demo će biti u biti oba dva su iz područja kognitivni servisi. Prvi će biti Q&A maker, to je najosnovniji bot, a drugi će biti, pokazat ću vam funkcioniranje naše cognitive search tražilice. Pa idemo krenut. Kako bi ovaj demo bio što interesantniji, prikazat ću oba demo na primjeru stvarnog korisnika, korisnik Atlantic Grupa s kojim testiramo razne inovativne tehnologije i s kojim imamo uspješnu suradnju u području M365 platforme. Putem ove platforme uspjeli smo modernizirati radno mjesto zaposlenika Atlantic Grupe i isto tako pohvalila bi Atlantic Grupu što su u uspješnom projektu konsolidacije telefonije omogućili svojim zaposlenicima da putem Skype-a imaju mogućnost izlaska na javnu govornu mrežu. Znači, integracijom direct routinga sa Skype tehnologijom zaposlenici imaju mogućnost komunikacije interno, međutim isto tako putem direct routinga imaju izlaz na javnu govornu mrežu. Evo, sad ćemo krenuti sa demom. Znači ovako, prvi demo Q&A maker, question and answer maker. Za ovo vam je važno da imate pretplatu na Azure Cloud, s obzirom da se servis nalazi na našoj platformi. I u principu dokument koji ćete uploadati u pozadinu u taj knowledge base ovog jednostavnog bota. Znači sve što stavljate u knowledge base, to je znanje koje taj bot uči i u principu može odgovarati na pitanja vaših korisnika. Znači, idemo na stranicu qnamaker.ai i da pokrenemo izradu knowledge base-a idemo na get started. Sad, za potrebe samog demoa, ja sam već pripremila bazu. Vrlo je jednostavno pripremiti tu bazu u 4 koraka, znači morate nazvati svoju knowledge bazu i implementirati unutra dokument, PDF, Excelicu. Ako imate pitanje i odgovore gdje ste prikupljali iz kontakt centra, isto tako možete implementirati u knowledge base. Za potrebe demoa ja sam već kreirala i evo, ajmo vidjeti kako on funkcionira. Evo, odgovorio je i prepoznao me. Za ovaj slučaj ja sam unijela naravno svoje ime, međutim bot se uistinu može integrirati sa face recognitionom koji se nalazi na našem kognitivnom servisu i ako korisnik upali kameru na laptopu ili na bilo kojem uređaju, uistinu će ga tehnologija moći prepoznati i omogućiti personalizaciju i dodatno to iskustvo s vašim korisnicima. Ok. Sada da vidimo kako je išlo. Ručala sam, ali ajmo reći da sam opet gladna. Evo, pita me, znači, da li hoću mesno ili povrtno. Sada ću pokušati, ako unesem u slučaju da pogriješim pitanje i recimo samo da unesem gladna. Evo, opet je prepoznao. Znači, machine learning i search koji se nalazi u pozadini uspio je prepoznati da u principu ja ga pitam isto pitanje kao ovo prethodno. Ajmo reći da više volim meso. Ponudio mi je primjer za određenog produkta. Ajmo reći super. Zvuči super. Evo, isto je u mogućnosti jer smo uploadali sve te podatke o proizvodima u pozadini i on mi je tu pokazao cjelokupan sadržaj. Recimo da želim nešto od povrća. Evo, preporučuje tu isto jedan proizvod i uspjeli smo isto tako dodati link vi automatski možete integrirati link i korisnik ga može automatski otvoriti u sljedećoj stranici i tako svojim korisnicima možete ih navigirati na određenu stranicu produkta. Ok. Evo sad mi nudi određeno piće i sad ću ga pitati, super, znači imam hranu, imam piće. Evo, znači vi ste u mogućnosti bot integrirati, u principu on prati i geolokaciju i u mogućnosti ste u pozadini integrirati sve lokacije, u ovom slučaju od Atlantic grupe u dućani gdje se nalaze određeni produkti i on automatski vam najbližu lokaciju preporuča. Još bih vam samo htjela pokazati primjer na koji način on uče cjelokupan tekst. Recimo da je korisnik pitao najbliži dućan. Evo, u ovom slučaju on nije prepoznao, međutim, vrlo ga je jednostavno sada naučiti. Na koji način? Znači, idemo na inspect i u principu tu upisujete ili uploadate sva moguća pitanja na koja će on imati ovaj odgovor. Znači, sad ću ja tu dodati najbliži dućan. Trenirat ću ga. Ovo je par sekundi. I evo sad ga možemo istestirati. Sad ću ga opet pitati isti dućan. Ups, samo malo. Nije našao, samo sekundu. Sam ga inspekt. Dućan. Evo još jednom. Da vidimo da li će sada. Možda start over. Nije uspio. Anela nešto se zblesiralo, ali u principu on uči i onda treba automatski izbaciti ovoga istu lokaciju. Ovo je samo demo. Ok, ništa, evo i sad ću preći na drugu funkcionalnost. To je znači search funkcionalnost, to je najnovija funkcionalnost unutar kognitivnih servisa i ekskluzivno za vas ćemo ovdje danas to prikazati. A što radi ta funkcionalnost? Znači ta search funkcionalnost se može jednostavno implementirati u bilo koju aplikaciju ili na web stranicu i na taj način omogućujete search vašim korisnicima, znači na web stranici ili kroz aplikaciju. Što je važno ovdje je da u principu vi uploadate slike, print screenove, audio, video zapise i pomoću search engine-a i computer visiona koji identificira riječi unutar slike, u mogućnosti ćete biti pretraživati putem search engine-a. Znači, ja sam uzela na ovom primjeru, išla sam na stranicu CDVite i napravila sam print screenove različitih proizvoda i unijela sam u našu bazu podataka i automatski je on sve te print screenove stavio na jednu web stranicu i vidite ovdje on je identificirao ključne riječi putem computer visiona, znači iz samih slika i na taj način je omogućio da slike budu pretražive. I recimo imamo primjer osobe koja ne smije konzumirati proizvode sa šećerom i traži nas da mu nađemo proizvode bez šećera. Evo, on je identificirao, znači, light blue diabetes koji je namijenjen upravo za ove osobe. Možemo samo još isprobati da li prepozna bez dijakritičkih znakova. Evo, isto tako je prepoznan, znači dosta inteligentan i prepoznan čak i kad nema znakova da mislimo na šećer. Jedan od primjera gdje je ova funkcionalnost vrlo primjenjiva je kada imate velike količine dokumenata, bilo da je ručni zapis, čak i audio zapis, jer putem kognitivnih servisa vi ste u mogućnosti imati speech to text translation, znači sve te dokumente stvarno uistinu možete pretraživati putem ove naše funkcionalnosti i jedan od projekata uspješnih na kojem smo radili sa search engine-om je upravo JFK case, koji ima više od 34.000 dokumenata i ne samo to, već ima i ručnih zapisa i audio zapisa i upravo putem naše tehnologije omogućili smo da svi ti zapisi i dokumenti budu jednostavno pretraživi. Evo, ovo su dva primjera, pokazala sam vam na koji način je vrlo jednostavno primijeniti dvije funkcionalnosti iz naših kognitivnih servisa. Ovo mi isto tako daje ideju za sve one korisnike koji žele e-commerce, online dućan predstaviti kao prvi korak gdje možete znači imati search engine i upravo virtualnog bot koji će olakšati snalaženje vašim korisnicima. Evo, nadam se da sam vas inspirirala s ove dvije ideje i stojimo na raspolaganju mi partneri da i za vas napravimo ovako inovativne projekte. Hvala lijepa.
Dajte još jedan veliki aplauz za dečke i cure iz Mirror Crew. Kad su neki ljudi dobri u tako nekim stvarima kao ni u plesu, onda svima nama drugim amaterima to izgleda tako lagano. Svi bi od nas to mogli, da, ali puno su se trudili, tako da puno im hvala što su došli na našu današnju konferenciju i ovu središnju svečanost. Mi idemo dalje s programom. Neki od vas su došli jučer u Šibenik, neki su stigli danas, a nama je jako važno znati što vi mislite o ovoj konferenciji, o današnjem danu, o tome gdje ste. Tako da ću vas ja sad pozvati da uzmete svoje mobilne telefone. Nemojte ih skrivati kao do sada ispod sjedala, slobodno ih uzmite ponosno u ruke i odete na ovu stranicu koja vam piše na ekranu, menti.com. Za login upišete ovaj kod 792376 i odgovorite na ovo nenagradno pitanje. Imaćete 3 kućice za popuniti, slobodno popunite sve 3, a onda ćemo kasnije vidjeti kakvi su rezultati. Dok vi to radite, ja ću na stage pozvati Tomislava Tipurića, Chief Technology Officera tvrtke Nefos, koji će moderirati panel diskusiju koju sam ranije najavila. Tomislave. Dakle, rekla sam danas sa ovim panelom završavamo ovaj zajednički dio business i technology dijela konferencije. Ti ćeš u biti sa svojim sugovornicima govoriti, odnosno spojit ćeš inovatore i korisnike, je li tako?
Upravo tako, dakle te dvije skupine, ajmo reći IT, odnosno tehnoloških inovatora, su zapravo povezani. Iako ta dva procesa djeluju nekako odvojeno, uvijek se tehnologija nekako odvajala od biznisa, oni zapravo jedni bez drugog ne mogu. I ono što je ključno, inovacija tehnološka ima smisao tek kada nađe svoga poslovnog korisnika i kad on iz nje dobije vrijednost. Jer ako određena nova stvar nema vrijednost na kraju, onda to nije inovacija, onda je to uistinu samo eksperiment.
Ja onda neću duljiti, ostati ovdje na stage-u, tebe prepuštam stage-u i tvojim sugovornicima.
Hvala ti.
Sretno.
Prije svega, ja bih volio vidjeti malo rezultate ovoga što ste vi sada popunjavali. Jel možemo vratiti ovu sliku? Biću vam iskren. Imao sam spreman i govor u situaciji da ovi rezultati ne budu ovakvi, ali ja nemam što reći na ovo osim hvala. Zapamtite ovaj link, jer od trenutka kada se panelisti pojave na stage-u, imat ćete prilike putem tog istog linka postavljati pitanja panelistima. Mi ćemo na kraju odabrati jedno od njih i njega ćemo postaviti našim panelistima, koji ću ja sada lagano zamoliti da mi se pridruže na stage-u. So, please give your warm welcome to Anke, Tomislav, Luka, Hayden and Samuel. So, thank you guys for being here. We'll start actually with the beginning of today's content. So, Hayden, can you tell us which silos do we need to break? What walls do we need to tear down?
Is this working?
Yeah.
We're on, okay. I thought that when Philippe gave his presentation just now, he saw some great examples of holistic teams. So with the eggs, you know, it's probably a data scientist, it's the software development people, it's business strategy. That kind of thing is actually quite rare. You know, in most companies, the divisions, certainly between the IT shop and business strategy, is usually quite broken and quite conflictful. But I think you can see from those examples what can happen if you get that right. So it pays to put a lot of effort into creating a much more intelligent dialogue between those two silos.
Cool. Anke, I mean, I worked for Microsoft, so I know quite a lot of stuff about the company. Microsoft has always been based on software as its main revenue generator. And in the last 10 years, we are seeing digital transformation happening practically everywhere. What changes did Microsoft need to do in order to stay probably the best technological company in the world. I mean, the shareholders are saying, but I want to hear from you.
So if you all have the whole evening to listen to me, it's a long story, but I'll keep it very short. First of all, when Satya came on board, our CEO, about 4 or 5 years ago, things changed radically. So I don't think it's 10 years, I think it's actually shorter. And from that moment in time, Satya was very clear. If we want to change the company into the new direction, it's all about culture. It's the culture internally and the culture how we drive to the outside world and how we actually take our software and our new world of services into account and change it. It's no longer about licenses or selling software licenses. It's actually about the service that will land with the customer. And the potential in that area is so much bigger. And Philippe talked about it before, because it's really about technology and how we actually adopt that. If it comes to IoT and artificial intelligence, all of those different areas being in the cloud are going to play a big role in the future. And this is something really that desires a totally different approach from your people. So employees is #1 asset to really change and to drive the culture. So that's one thing that we did. We also looked at our partner ecosystem. So who are the partners actually who can lead with us in this? Because the market is going to be so big. If you look at the software capabilities from a license perspective, it's this small. But if you look into the world of services and IoT and artificial intelligence, it becomes a billion or a trillion business. How can you do that as a company yourself? You can't. So you need partners actually to take that into account and to work with that on that. And moreover, I think one of the biggest impactful things that happened is Satya also said, we can't be just a sole monopolist. We really need to embrace the open source technology and philosophy. And we build all of our software based on that. And we're an open company in a sense, and we can deliver everything and implement it around it. I think these are the 3 major things that are happening. And also Philippe said just now, if you look at artificial intelligence or the ethics behind it, that becomes super, super important for us, and also the privacy. So if you talk about privacy and not anymore about data and not anymore about licensing, then privacy becomes crucial. And you need to find ways on how you drive legislation and everything around it. So I guess on open source, maybe a good thing to know, we have about 20,000 engineers in the company who are actually building on top of open source software today. So it's quite a lot.
I mean, I'm so glad that you mentioned the open source, because I mean, here in Croatia, we have probably started when Microsoft started with the open source conferences and everything else. So people are actually, through WinDays conference, through various other conferences that we do, actually saw this evolution that you actually now talk about. Samir, you have been with Philips, or now Signify, for more than 4 years. You started probably in the time when this whole transformation actually began. So how did the transformation of the Philips look like from the traditional electronics company to what now probably we can say is IoT-based company?
Well, I want to emphasize 2 things here. The first one is to using IoT in internal processes and the products and the manufacturing to understand it and how we can use IoT and the sensors during the production to get the life cycle of the management, of course, of the product, to better processes using the better batteries, for example, or something like that. So that's the first one. The second one is how to use connected devices as our products. Just example, connected toothbrush. Everybody was laughing before, but now it's de facto. And during that, it was not so easy. A lot of people that worked for Philips in 25, 30 years just in production manufacturing, now they started to struggle for 4 years ago, and we heard Philippe, thanks for that, is that transformation has to start with the people. So that's willing to go outside of the comfort zone, to learn something new like AI, to use it and to have ideas about what can I do for the product and how to push that to the market. So, and I think that's one aspect. The second one is we saw that sales and marketing was not ready at all to sell digital goods. because it's not anymore to just put it in a box on the shelf and then ask somebody to sell. So now you have to think about updates, upgrades, cross-selling, upselling. So it's total new stuff. So it was struggling in the beginning, but as any other company. But to look, we are still there, and #1 in connected lighting.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, thank you for mentioning that. I mean, the transformation is never easy. I mean, that's obviously, if somebody is saying that transformation is easy, that's something which is total nonsense, at least for me. It's never easy, but if you do it right, it's worth.
Can I make a point of that?
You can, of course.
I think one of the really interesting things about the Philips transformation is how you brought the CFO office along. Because once you start to do those connected devices, you're changing the revenue streams. A lot of CFOs won't accept that. A lot of CFOs are not prepared to break down their systems and rebuild them for microtransactions either. So, great lesson for everybody. Start with the CFO.
That's a good one. Tomislav, or Tom, or what? We know each other for a long time. One of your marketing statements is actually that your company builds software that boosts productivity for businesses and simplifies the life of your customers. The brief definition, it can lead us to conclude that you're a typical outsourcing agency or a body shop, as people call it. What's your main differentiation? How do you compete with such agencies that are developing just the software for the client?
Yeah, so I mean the term, like you said, body shop or body leasing, I think some people call it. It's kind of like a little derogatory term. I don't think anybody likes it, and it's for a good reason why people don't like it, because body shop basically implies that you have just like a bunch of developers and you just sell them out, and you don't control the process, you don't add any value, you just kind of find them and rent them out, which is basically nobody wants to do that. And I mean, if we were that type of company, I think that wouldn't be very good for us. Like, what would be our use case? And that's why wouldn't the client just hire those people themselves and just get it over with? So our main thing, the way we see it, is that we need to bring additional value into that process. And the additional value is, for one thing, we've been doing this a long time, and we know how to properly manage those projects and how to kind of get them from point A to point B inside a certain budget, time frame, whatever. Like, that's one thing you need to do if you want just the bare minimum to kind of work with clients. And then the other thing is just, bringing your own ideas and the collaboration with the client. So the client is not just like this person screaming on top of a hill, these are our requirements, and you're like, yes, we'll do all of that. The whole model is changing. It's changing to a way where you need to be very collaborative. You need to bring your own ideas. You need to partner up with the client. You need to, give pushback in certain situations, which is not very, easy for people to do, because the client is the one that's paying them, and they're like, oh no, I need to tell them this thing isn't. So people need to be open and honest about that, and that's what we try to kind of foster into the company. And there's just some of the things that we try to do.
Thank you. That's interesting. Luca, you are actually branded as Mobile Design and Development Agency. However, when you go to the website of Five, you will see product research, growth marketing. Can you tell us a bit more about this? How is it connected? How is product research connected with the design and development?
Yeah, so thank you first for inviting me here. It's great to be in front of this big audience in this conference. Well, I'll start with that question a bit differently. I mean, to be able to successfully lead the digital transformation with our clients, we had to digitally transform ourselves. When we started the company, we were teamed with great engineers, great designers, but at some point we obviously realized that doesn't cut it. And no one established computer science college or FER in Zagreb just for us to have fun with new classes, new methodologies, new, whatever. It was established to help solve real world problems through technology. Same goes for designers as well. I mean, today's design students are taught to, do book layouts or print. That doesn't cut it at all. We're here to solve problems. So, eventually through trial and error, we saw that just delivering great, beautiful products on time and within budget simply doesn't cut it. And in that whole process of design and development, we realized that a lot of our clients are approaching us, with, basically wrong ideas. just ideas that won't help them build their businesses, that won't help them grow. They're just basically wasting their money. They haven't done their basic research, product market fit. So that's why we established this first service where we actually do the product research and actually try to come up with a better spend of their money and just better implementations, what could actually deliver final results. And then we come to, after we deliver the whole product, we come to this performance marketing or growth marketing phase. We actually want to make sure that that supercar we gave them just to drive, they don't know how to drive it. I mean, they need guidance on marketing and user attention and engagement within the apps or any types of products. And it's simply, we now spend more than 50% of our time in that later phase, in the growth marketing phase, because just delivering a great, beautiful product on the market which is saturated with millions of other products just doesn't cut it. I mean, you have to find a way to the user and basically make the most of the users you already have within the app and just make incremental improvements to build up that business.
So you guys are actually competition, sitting next to each other.
We're friends.
And such a good friends.
We're friends.
Good. Hayden, one of the facts that you actually stated in your lecture is that the value of cloud is actually being lost due to this division between IT and business. And actually, Croatia is part of the Central Eastern Europe, and it's a bit more conservative market probably than Western Europe and USA. And can that be the reason why we are a bit slower with implementing cloud technologies in Croatia than actually USA or West Europe?
I don't really know what the situation is in Croatia, but I think more generally, people are adopting cloud now much more confidently than they were in the past. We deal with a lot of companies that are in cloud enablement, so enabling that shift. And the negative, and seems to be my lot to talk about negatives today, the negative side of that is that a lot of those companies who are adopting the cloud are really just lifting their data center and their data center rule set and shifting all that to the cloud and not really getting the kind of business innovation that they need. I think one of the reasons for it is for a long time, business people have been allowed to believe that they shouldn't innovate around their core business, or they shouldn't innovate around business as usual. That has to be kept on track, and then we do this innovation to the side. But actually what cloud allows you to do, and do it relatively low cost, is to do these kind of things that we've seen that Philip showed. That you can and must innovate your core business and your business as usual. And you have to have that in mind when you go into the cloud.
Thank you for telling that. Anke, in your opinion, what is the biggest, the most important advantage Microsoft has that enables it to be the main cloud provider in our region?
In our region or in Croatia? I probably most likely also go to Croatia. But no, first of all, I think Philippe said it also nicely about the trust that we need to build with customers and partners. The world is changing very rapidly, and it's increasingly important to build that trust. People understand that what we're doing is right for them and right for the future of their children and so forth. So that's a real important part of where we work through and with our partners. I'm proud to say that we have been 18 years already collaborating in Croatia with the government, so that has been really good collaboration, and it's continuing today, and it's really, really great. At the same time, we also have fantastic partners locally, but also regionally. So we have Span Combis as great partners, but we also have a lot of system integrators, independent software vendors, telecoms, we have solution providers, many others, distributors that are working with us together to really land it. And we, of course, have our local team. So and our local team is maybe, for some people, not the biggest team, but it's a really important team because we do have a lot of expertise in our company that we can draw in at the right time. You can imagine that if the business becomes so complex with so many different areas where you actually can work, you won't have always the right people with the right expertise. So it needs to become more global, more regional to really address that and to build that. And I do believe we are well set in Croatia. It's one of our top countries, at least for multi-country and also from Philippe's area. So I think we're well set here.
Great to hear that. Tomislav, can you describe to us one or two of your engagements when you started to implement the model that you actually explained to us? One specific customer that was so reluctant to implement the changes, but at the end of the day, he or she was satisfied actually with the value you brought.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can like open with kind of the contrasting situation that happened a couple of years ago when like we had this project we were working on, I think, for about a year or something like that. And the project, the development was going okay, but the product wasn't going anywhere in terms of market. And I had one of the guys that was working on it, the developer, he came up to me, he's like, you know, I worked on this for a year, and I have nothing to show for it. It's not out there. It's not good. It's not going to get market. And like we got paid, but the product just didn't have success. And I was like, this really sucks. I mean, it sucks for you as somebody who worked on it, but it also sucks for us as a company. And like then we kind of today we don't do that anymore. We kind of, if we get these projects and if we don't kind of believe in it or we don't think it can work, then we try to work with the customer to a certain point to something that we think. And if the customer is not, you know, receptive to it, if you know they don't like or they don't believe in it, then we're not the right fit, I think, for it. And we, you know, say, you know, we can maybe work with somebody who kind of gets your vision. Maybe we don't get the vision, but that's kind of the way we do it. And then when we're in there, you know, when we work with the customer, we try to push like our own ideas together with them. It's kind of at the end, really, we don't know whose idea. Sometimes it comes from us, sometimes it comes from the customer, sometimes it's, you know, derivative of an idea combination or stuff like that. It really doesn't matter. Nobody at the end knows where the ideas came from. One specific one I can remember is the cruise line business, the cruise line photography business that we work in. We've been pushing like for years, because it's like it was a traditional business where they, you know, took pictures and sold them to people, and we were for years pushing that to go into the cloud. It's like, oh, we should really put this in the cloud. Yeah, but it's hard, you know, cloud. We have to, I don't know, upload this from a ship in the middle of the Caribbean and stuff like that. And we were pushing that for a year, and then we managed to do it. And when it got in there, they were like, oh yeah, this is amazing. Now we get all this other stuff, features. We get all this stuff that we can sell to customers. So, you know, that's a good example.
That's actually the story I actually wanted to hear from you. But I have a question now for Luka. Have you ever declined to work on a project because you saw that the customer will not get any kind of value out of it?
Well, yes. I mean, we have two red flags that we always try to avoid. One is a clear, defined spec. Like when a client approaches with a clearly defined spec, we steer away because that shows that, you know, that doesn't fit into our process where we actually, you know, use a test, prototype, evaluate different things, are quick on our feet and try probably like 10 different solutions before we're done with the design. Just trying to find the right market fit to make sure that, you know, the goals will be met. So this shows some kind of stiffness and non-flexibility, and just, it doesn't work for us, basically. You know, we love to be partners who are, you know, challenged to solve a business problem, not deliver on the spec. And the second one that I've actually did only once, but was that there was no clear goal for the project. The money was on the table, and it was just a spend. We're just spending it on an app. It was I think it was $120,000. So it was a pretty significant. We could do a pretty nice job, probably win a few awards. It would be great. But the problem with that was, I mean, margins in software business and services aren't as high. I mean, we have so much opportunities to work on, and I'm looking for the next project that will actually change a client completely, that I could use as a reference for myself. You know, I wanna have a reference saying we you know, did like a 7-fold increase of revenue for client X. We increased the number of job applications by 20-something% for this other client. I want to have those metrics as numbers, and if I can't get that from a client, you know, that's just a waste of time, basically.
It's not worth for you.
It's not. No. Yeah, we're not in it for the money. And it's not the money. It's just about the growth and just getting more reference and building out a huge and bigger company. If I may, I mean, there's a thing between me and Tomislav. I think he shares the same thing. Our companies are probably of the same size, roughly. Yeah. And there was this trend that I've seen, just to align with your question. I mean, maybe 4 years ago, we were a company of 80 people, and we did 40 projects a year, which is a huge number. Last year, when we had 160, we did 20. This year, we're around 180. I see around 10 to 15 projects that we'll do this year, not more. Because you just can't make any significant change if you're just running for, you know, doing the spec work or body shop that you said.
Yeah, the same thing actually happened to us, so that's very similar. So basically reducing the number of clients and just getting more in deep with each project.
Samir, Signify is actually founded by Philips. It's a spin-off we can say company. Was this part of the transformation to actually start to diversify your products from the old ones that were actually branded under Philips?
Well, both yes and no. If you look into Philips, Philips is a very old company, 125 years old, I think. More than 100,000 employees around the globe. And it started with Philips lighting, actually. Started from the bulb. And during the years, Philips has been during transformation multiple times, so it's not the first time. We can see that, for example, the NXP Semiconductors has been part of the Philips, and then now it's in the own company. ASML, also it's one of the largest in manufacturing of the machines that produce chipsets for Microsoft, for everybody. And the decision was that recently, for example, to move from CDs, DVDs, TVs into more medical part and to have a focus there, and then to leave the focus of the Philips lighting to the separate division. So that's why Philips introduced the lighting as an own company in the stock market. And since that, we started to reduce Philips' influence. So I think now it's only 16% of the market share, stock shares, and which means they are not a majority stakeholder anymore. So after that, because of the legal aspects, we changed. We tried to find a really good, cool name. Which cling in the airs, which really step the foot for a new era, and that's why Signify. It's meaning of light, and since that, we have introduced a lot of on top of what we have inherited, all patents, customers, and so on. So we introduced connected lighting systems. We introduced the pure IoT platform. And that's to keep #1 position.
Okay, thank you. Hayden, I mean, we saw one of the two, probably the best examples in Croatia regarding software agencies. What are your thoughts about externalization in that point that actually guys explained? Because they're becoming external part of their customers' teams, actually, with what they are doing.
Sure. Yeah, I think that, look at that. My lights come on. Excuse me. What's really interesting about that idea of externalization, it's been around a long time. So if you look at Microsoft, as you said earlier, Microsoft was the first big ecosystem company with about 70,000 value-added resellers and ISVs. I think where we are now is much less formal than that. You know, if you look at DJI in China, they can call 20,000 people around their product almost overnight because people are really enthusiastic about drones and people want to get involved. And I think we've gone towards, I'd say it's more than externalization. You know, I think where we've gone to is a participatory form of capitalism. And it's what the Chinese are driving really hard. And I think that unless we start to do that, unless we think actually there is no barrier between us and our customers, we don't target our customers, we integrate our customers, unless we start to learn from what China's doing with ecosystems, I think whatever externalization policies we have, it just won't be enough.
Thank you, yeah. Anke, you mentioned partners. Can you share with us some examples what Microsoft did really good with the partners for the customers in Croatia?
It's a long list, but let me see a couple of things that are really important to us. First of all, we built with a collaboration environment with Privredna, I say it right, Banka Zagreb. 4 years ago, where actually this environment for collaboration really improved a lot, and a lot of other banks actually afterwards came after that, but also other industries like manufacturing industries, transport, so that helped a lot to build that. And I do want to say on the collaboration or on the utilization of certain products, like Office, we actually talked with a couple of people this morning about it. if you use it in a different way and look at the analytics that you get, actually, over the weekend I was looking myself, I get every day, every week, I get all the information that how I'm using my productivity environment. And there are things that are also contributing to the culture that you can improve or not improve. So there was a lot of analytics around how I actually focus my time, how I build, how many hours I sit in meetings, but also on that I normally don't work in the weekend, but if I send out some emails in the weekend, I actually get right away a notification that more than 150 people were reading my emails, and I actually made them work on the weekend to actually do that. So that's a cultural thing you can think about and actually drive up the work-life balance of your people to kind of like, you know, stop that, build in different monitoring parts of controls that you say, send it out on Monday morning at 9 o'clock and nobody will be reading it and you're not actually disturbing the weekends of your people. These are small things, but they're majorly important for an optimized life for every single worker in the world. Of course, we also have other works that we did. I mean, we built with Infinum the web mobile platform. I think this is one of the things to open up a bank account for the Posta Bank, Croatian Bank. We actually to open up account mobile. I don't even think we have that in the Netherlands, so that's quite a nice job done. But we also have, for example, you saw the bot from HR, from Bonsai or Span. But we also have, for example, agricultural workers who can do a lot better work through the application of Agrivi that actually translate all the data that is happening and how to actually do it better from that perspective. And moreover, we work very closely with Podravka, who actually works on how to optimize the work for their customers and their customers again. So there's many, many more. There's a whole list, but I do believe there is a huge amount of innovative work done in Croatia. And probably beyond that, I mean, there's lots of companies here who are actually transporting all the knowledge to the outside of Croatia, so lots to be shared. Yes.
Thank you, Anke. I mean, we are approaching to the end, and I just want to ask Tomislav, you're now going into software as a service business, so that's new, kind of. Field. I mean, I know the story, but I would really like for you to try to tell us, I mean, what you basically did, you started digitizing your know-how and putting it into a product.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. I mean, so like I said, we're like a services company, and that's kind of the bulk of our work, but at a certain point we started, putting our processes and the way that we do stuff, building internal tooling around it, and basically building a product around it. The product is called Productive, and in that way we're actually selling it to other companies that are like us, or even like broader. So, we're like a software development company, but we would like sell it to also agencies like PR agencies, digital agencies, any kind of like consulting business. And it's very interesting because, we can approach it from different angles, so it helps us run our business, it helps us kind of get better at what we do. But it's like a potentially a big product, it's a completely separate business line now. It's also like a good way to learn stuff, because we can't really tell clients how to build products if we haven't actually done it ourselves and risked our own money and time and failed and then went back. And I think failing is an important part of any kind of work. So that's generally a great experience for all of us.
Thank you. Luka, you have something to share with us on that topic? Are you preparing a product?
The topic of failures or the topic of product?
Product.
I have both in the same story. So yeah, I mean, we started with our products basically in 2010, pivoted 5 times with our product, launched different new products, and basically as we established our methodology of working with clients around 2014, 2015, where it's all about numbers and metrics. I know that for our latest project we were working on, we delayed the development for about 1.5 years until we were ready to commit. So we did a bunch of iterations, bunch of design, bunch of user testing, sold so many versions that never came out. So it was a big learning curve for us. And as Tomislav said, you have to really walk the walk to be able to teach the clients.
You need to fail in order to stand
Yeah,
up.
we spend a lot of money, so we're good sports.
Anke wants to share something with us.
No, may I add to that? Because I think actually that is something also that changed massively within our corporation. It's not any long from like deliver and, you know, drive the numbers. It's more about entrepreneurship and risk taking. So, and if you do that, if you go that route, you actually enable your people to make mistakes, because from mistakes you learn, and when you learn, you go actually further, and that's how you grow. And it's very hard to implement it in the sense of a lot of people don't want to either make mistakes or admit mistakes. And I think it's part of, you know, real true life to develop and to grow faster in this kind of world that we are now. And it needs to be there. If you don't have it, it's actually stopping you from growing.
Yeah, really. Samir, you've been in ICT for a long time, and what kind of flexibility was actually required for you in order to be able to succeed in these standards? What changes did you need to make from time to time?
Whoa, a hard philosophical question.
For the end.
Yeah, for the end, of course. But to look, if you look into the industry and technologies, it's repeating. So it's I'll be there for, it's new terms, new technologies that will speed up, and like Philippe already said, and I was there 2004. We built a device management platform for 300 million devices at that time. And we had 120 million users on the App Store at that time, between, I should say, monthly on 2007, 2008. And we used the cloud, and it was not called the cloud. We used the IoT, it was not called the IoT, and all the sensors to understand, for example, how the crappy network is on Korčula, and how we are going to deal with that, because we know that the users will come in and say, yeah, it's your phone. It's not our phone, but we have to deal with those conditions. And it's, if you look into the underlying problem, is the same. What is going on the other side? And then that what we have to understand. So people has to be flexible and then start looking into new technologies. And thanks to Microsoft to building such great in the Azure for the masses. Because now it's in 2004 we build our own network, everything by our own, and you can imagine in 2004 you cannot just build it like that. But today it's with $20, and yes, you can do that.
Yeah.
So, of course, a lot of readings, a lot of the, I don't know, the TechCrunch, Mashable, all kind of sources and consumption of the knowledge to be on the edge. That was always my part. Recently, we moved, I moved in another direction because I saw that if I continue with technology, then such a deep, then I cannot do another dimension. So then I left the technology and expertise to Infinum, I hire, for example, and then I lifted myself up to managing them, and then to more into business and connect the business and technology, which is my strength now. And I should say that every leader should do that, to keep positions, to keep moving into right direction, and of course not blindly following technologies, but into evaluating, analyzing what is it for me, and it's IoT and new technologies that we saw the cognitive part, searching and so on. AI that's disruption. So you have to deal with that or lose market shares and market opportunities.
Yeah. Thank you. And as I said, we will have one question from the audience. So I'm asking my colleague. So I will actually translate to English, in English. So it's actually about the prediction, when will the AI become as popular as a telephone in our domestic environments, when it will become the integral part of every day's life of the people. Somebody wants to answer?
Well, I don't think I can answer that exact question, but I did some research on AI a couple of years ago. Unless things have changed dramatically in the last 2 years, most AI projects are big data projects. And the actual ability to do predictive decision making through AI is quite limited. So I have a feeling that, you know, business has got in the habit of talking a very optimistic story about a very great number of things. It does share price a lot of good too, but the reality, I think, is some way back from all that.
Okay, guys.
I think the thing about AI is it's already everywhere. I mean, it's already happening. I mean, it's underneath it.
Is that AI or
it's not like you can't make it a phone. It's just, it's sort of a current stream that goes throughout the whole already life, because a lot of things already are happening today. I mean, we have a lot of analytics already, so a lot of it is AI already. So I guess, I don't think there's an answer like in 2 or 3 years some things will happen.
It's already here.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for being here with me. Hvala vam.
Hvala puno Tomislavu, hvala puno panelistima. Thank you guys, you were amazing. It was very interesting listening to you. Vrlo je jasno sad, pogotovo nakon ovog panela, da postoji tajna veza između biznisa i tehnologije. Ja sam sigurna da se s tim slaže i naš sljedeći govornik ovdje koji će nam se kratko obratiti, gospodin Bernard Gršić, izaslanik predsjednika Vlade Republike Hrvatske i državni tajnik Središnjeg državnog ureda za razvoj digitalnog društva. Gospodine Gršić, izvolite.
Hvala lijepa, sve vas srdačno pozdravljam. Osobito mi je čast pozdraviti vas u ime predsjednika Vlade Republike Hrvatske, gospodina Andreja Plenkovića, i u svoje ime. Nakon ovih zanimljivih danas izlaganja, uistinu mogu samo reći nekoliko detalja vezano za investicije. Dakle, vjerujem da ste svi upoznati, prije 10-ak dana agencija Standard & Poor's je Hrvatsku smjestila u investicijski kreditni rejting nakon punih 6 godina. Dakle, to je sigurno jedna informacija i nešto što nije došlo samo od sebe, nego je došlo predanim radom i ove Vlade, a što će sigurno doprinijeti daljnjim investicijama u Republici Hrvatskoj. Među njima, naravno, i investicijama u ICT sektoru. Kad smo pitali naše građane što misle o digitalnom društvu, odnosno kako percipiraju digitalno društvo, odgovorili su nam da preko 87% njih je odgovorilo da digitalno društvo vide kao pokretač rasta gospodarstva. Dakle, sve ono o čemu mi pričamo i na ovoj konferenciji potvrdili su i naši građani. Ja bi se nadovezao na jednu temu. Upravo ova konferencija sudjeluje u tome na svoj specifičan način. Dakle, 1800 sudionika, preko 150 predavanja, upravo doprinosi razvoju digitalnih vještina. Digitalne vještine su ona komponenta digitalnog društva koje moramo osobito njegovati kod naših građana. Dakle, i Europska unija je prepoznala digitalne vještine kao jednu temu i u sljedećem programskom razdoblju upravo za tu temu planira izdvojiti preko 700 milijuna eura. A da današnje društvo ide u dobrom smjeru i da digitalne vještine koje se razvijaju među našim mladima i među našom djecom idu u dobrom smjeru, želio bih naglasiti kao primjer upravo našu djecu, naše mlade koji na raznim međunarodnim i domaćim natjecanjima osvajaju izuzetno visoke rezultate. I osobito iz područja robotike i informatike. I ovim putem želim svima čestitati, i ne samo njima, nego i njihovim mentorima, na uspjesima i na jednom jako lijepom primjeru da se mi kao svi građani ne moramo brinuti za razvoj digitalnog društva. Na kraju želim vam svima uspješan rad i puno uspjeha na ovoj konferenciji. Hvala lijepo.
Hvala puno gospodinu Gršiću. Hvala vam puno. Ako vam ovo nisu prvi WinDaysi, onda vrlo dobro znate da se svake godine konferencija veže uz određenu humanitarnu akciju, tako je i ove godine. Ove godine to je udruga za poboljšanje kvalitete života siromašne i nezbrinute djece Mali zmaj, i zato ste u konferencijskom prostoru jučer i danas mogli vidjeti malog zmaja koji vam je mogao dati informaciju na koji način i vi možete pomoći. U pitanju je 40 malih zmajeva, dakle djece kojima treba vaša pomoć. Oni su napravili popis stvari koje bi si oni željeli. Neke smo želje uslišili, odnosno neke smo želje ispunili, a neke su još ostale, tako da ispred ulaza u konferencijsku dvoranu imate jedan ekran sa popisom njihovih želja. One stvari koje su označene zelenom bojom, to je već riješeno, to smo već kupili, a ove stvari koje nisu, tako da evo, pronađite nešto što vam je možda zanimljivo kako bi ta djeca to dobila. Isto tako, uz napomenu da ovo sve ne završava danas, nego do kraja trajanja konferencije, dakle zaključno s petkom, imate još vremena za sudjelovati ili donacijom direktno financijski ili odabrati nešto s tog popisa. Ja sada pozivam na pozornicu da mi se pridruži predstavnicu društva Mali zmaj, gospođu Ivu Ivanišević. Ja sam rekla ono najvažnije, da još primamo donacije i da ljudi mogu još pomoći, a vi nam u par riječi možete reći točno što radi vaša udruga.
Dobar dan svima. Ja u društvu Mali zmaj sudjelujem kao volonter i kao trajni donator, pa bi onda htjela s tog aspekta i predstaviti udrugu. Zašto sam baš odlučila volontirati u Malom zmaju je činjenica da udruga ne prikuplja samo materijalnu pomoć, već ulaže iznimne napore da se prekine nešto što se naziva socijalnom genetikom. Naime, djeca koja odrastaju u siromašnim obiteljima vam vrlo često odrastaju u uvjerenju da je život koji žive danas najbolje što mogu očekivati u nekom budućem životu. Kako to ne bi bilo tako, Mali zmaj je okupio vojsku volontera. Naime, Mali zmaj ima jednog jedinog zaposlenog, a sve ostalo čine neki divni ljudi koji toj djeci poklanjaju nešto što mislim da danas svi imamo najmanje, a to je slobodno vrijeme. Ti ljudi organiziraju za djecu aktivnosti koje bi im inače bile nedostupne u smislu plesnih radionica, satova učenja stranih jezika, art terapije, psihološke podrške, pomoći logopeda i sl. Htjela bih još samo spomenuti koncept trajnog doniranja. To je nešto što se kao ideja razvilo 2016. i podrazumijeva, odnosno željeli bismo da svako naše dijete korisnik ima svog trajnog donatora. Znači, svatko odabere jedno konkretno dijete i preuzima obvezu svaki mjesec mu slati paket hrane ili plaćati njegove račune za školsku prehranu ili slati mu poklone za Božić, onoliko koliko donator može u skladu sa svojim financijskim mogućnostima. Mi trenutno imamo 511 malodobnih korisnika, za 99 još uvijek tražimo trajne donatore, pa ako ima zainteresiranih, rado ćemo vas primiti u zmajsko društvo. Ja vam se želim zahvaliti što ste nas učinili dijelom ove konferencije. Hvala vam na svakoj prikupljenoj kuni i kao što ste vidjeli po dječjim željama, one će zaista biti taj novac utrošen planski i promišljeno i tamo gdje je zaista najviše potreban. Hvala vam puno.
Hvala vama. Ja ću sad pozvati ovog malog zmaja kojeg sam ranije spomenula, točnije zmajicu, koja će, dajte pozdravite aplauzom, koja donosi ček sa do sada prikupljenim sredstvima. A prije nego što primimo ovdje pritužbe naših sudionika konferencije, pa nas optuže zašto trudni zmaj nosi teret. Dajte objasnite zašto ovaj zmaj nije trudan u biti.
Zmaj ime zaista nije trudan. Zmaj je nastao po crtežu jednog našeg djeteta korisnika i koristimo ga kao maskotu. A eto, zmaj ima trbuščić i u drugom stanju.
Onda dobro. Ja ću se malo odmaknuti pa slobodno čisto da vas fotkamo i još jednom napomenuti da naša ova humanitarna akcija traje zaključno s petkom. Tako da imate priliku za podebljati malo ovaj iznos ili, kao što sam već rekla, ne morate financijski donirati, možete i kupiti direktnu stvar koju je netko od djece poželio. Isto tako iskoristit ću ovu priliku pa ću se zahvaliti tvrtki Also koja je djeci donirala mobitele koje su tražili, Epsonu koji je donirao printer, te Stožeru koji je donirao role. Jesu sretni bili? Jesu? Odlično. Dajte još jedan veliki aplauz, hvala vam puno. Dakle, stigli smo do kraja ove naše današnje svečanosti, ali ne i do kraja konferencije. Kao što sam već preko nekoliko puta rekla. Sve ovdje traje do petka. Nadam se da se vidimo ovdje sutra točno u podne na Technology Keynote-u. Ako ste sudjelovali samo na biznis konferenciji, nadam se da ste uživali i jedino što vam mogu poželjeti je sretan put. Isto tako u ime konferencije ovom prilikom moram se zahvaliti svim partnerima, sponzorima, pokroviteljima i prijateljima. Hvala vam što ovu konferenciju svake godine zajedno sa organizacijom činite boljom i dižete ljestvicu za sljedeću godinu. Još jednom hvala vam svima na dolasku. Želim vam da uživate ova preostala 2 dana i da se vidimo sljedeće godine. Hvala vam puno.